Welcome, everyone, to Hit the Books. I'm Tom Casale. He's Joey Knish. We're back with another week of picks for college football week 10. Knish, how's it going?
Well, Tom, I tell you what, I'd be better if I could beat you one head-to-head this season before the season ends. So, you know what? I don't care who you're picking this week. I'm going against one of them I might go against all five just to get on the board.
So, Knish, it's pretty crazy because I went 2-3 last week, and I'm 18-17 for the year. One game about a human coin flip. Last week, all three losses, a touchdown against me in the final minute to cover. Things looking bad, but when I go up against you, Knish, I got to be honest, even I was laughing because I couldn't believe what I was watching. So first we go Notre Dame, North Carolina. Notre Dame blows them out. Then we go Tulsa, Navy. Navy blows out Tulsa, which couldn't happen in 100 years. Then when you think it can't get any crazier, Louisville and Wake Forest. I have Louisville plus the 4. Wake Forest, 6 turnovers in one quarter. 2 of them lead to defensive touchdowns. I couldn't believe it. I said, listen, I know I'm joking about, I said to my son, I know I'm joking about me and Knish, but there might be something here. I said, I've never seen a game like this before.
I tell you, that was their, because you know what? That Wake Forest, got down early, they come back in the second quarter. I was actually, if I wouldn't have been on them pregame, I would have bet a Wake Forest second half. I thought that they had finally weathered their early storm, had gotten into the game, and then just a third quarter for the ages. I think it was 35-0 there after all the turnovers were mixed in TDs. So, yeah, you know what? I don't know. I hope Sam Hartman won some money betting against Wake Forest last week, as you did, because Joey K did not.
Yeah, I'm with you, Knish. Louisville got up a couple of early scores, and Wake Forest came back, and I was like, it's going to be one of those days, man. I'm not going to win a game. It just felt like Wake Forest was going to come back and win that game. And again, we're going to talk about this in a couple minutes, but just one of those games, it's so insane you can barely even look at it to handicap. I mean, who's going to think? I'll be honest with you, Knish. I'd like to take credit for it. I didn't envision 6 turnovers in the third quarter, as great as I am. But 18-17, I feel good this week. I think I finally got a week where I can run the table. We'll see what you think about my picks. It Hit the Books is presented by the Hammer Betting Network, Knish. You can check out all the great stuff at thehammer.bet and on social media platforms at the Hammer HQ. I know you're on plenty of their shows, a lot of great content there. So, my first pick, speaking of Wake Forest, I got the Demon Deacons laying 2.5 for the exact reasons we just said. I think you take out last week's game and throw it away. I think there's nothing that made sense about it. I know Louisville's defense is playing good, but like we said, Wake Forest got back in that game, and then all this crazy stuff started happening. That's not the Wake Forest offense. That's not Sam Hartman. I grabbed this as soon as it came out. And you're looking at NC State. They've had to start back up since Devin Leary went down. They're averaging 16.6 points per game since Leary was lost for the season. I think last week was just one of those you say, I don't know what happened. Let's throw it out. I'm taking Wake Forest, small number on the road.
Yeah, you know what? I can't disagree with you too much here. As much as I'd love to come down on Wake Forest and throw them to the curb forever. No, that would be the side I would play here at 3 or better. I agree. I think you've got, Sam Hartman's had a couple of those games in his career where he's just been total disaster, loses his composure, and then it compounds from there. And so, for the most part, though, that hasn't been the Sam Hartman at Wake Forest, and you would expect a bounce-back effort against an NC State team. Now, I will say, I believe the freshman they're going with now, who is highly recruited, will be a significant upgrade over the Chambers kid who they brought in, who was kind of a stopgap. I'm kind of surprised they even went with him for as long as they did after Leary went down. I think you've seen now, though, that, even under Devin Leary, it's just not a good NC State. It doesn't matter who the quarterback is, whether it's been Devin Leary or Chambers or Morris. If anything, Morris gives you a little bit more threat there when the play breaks down to kind of get some yard with his legs. But it's just not a good offense. They don't have great skill position players. It's not a great offensive line. They can't run the ball consistently. So there's really nothing, even when Leary was there, that they did particularly well. And it's a Wake Forest team that you would figure, even against an NC State defense that is talented, is still a team that is, in all likelihood, going to get to the high 20s or in the 30s. NC State is going to have to put up a significantly higher number than they have since Leary went down to be in this game or to cover this game. I don't see it. I'm just not. It's just been an NC State season, even when they had Leary, that I thought the team was underwhelming, and it's kind of just spiraled from there. So yeah, I'm with you on that one. I like Wake at the 3 or better.
Yeah, that would be my only concern is if MJ Morris ends up being a really good quarter. But I'm with you. I took NC State 11-1 to win the ACC this year. I thought maybe they get Clemson. DJU doesn't play well. That's before they make a quarterback change. But it hasn't been the NC State team I thought I was going to see before the season. Even when Leary was there, I thought Leary might have been a long shot Heisman contender. I was expecting big things, but offensively, it just hasn't happened for him, like you said.
No, totally. I agree with you. I mean, even I'd say even if you're getting a good MJ Morris performance, relative to what they've had at the quarterback position, it hasn't been good to begin with. I mean, they were a team that was totally stifled by Clemson and wasn't able to move the ball whatsoever against a Clemson defense that even hasn't been truly elite this year. And since the change, it's just been even before, it's just been a disappointing NC State offense. And I don't think is. I mean, we're week 10 now. It's just a bad offense. There's nothing that's going to change in this game where they're all suddenly going to light it up or So I don't think they can keep up and score with Wake Forest here.
Okay, so you agreed with my first pick. I got a feeling you might be on the same side here. For my second pick, I went Kansas at pick. I didn't get the best number at +2. The little birdie who gives me quarterback information. Well, your dog doesn't like the pick.
Hey, listen, you're going against dog lover and Gundy there.
Yeah, the dog's got a max play on Oklahoma State over there. But the word is Jalen Daniels is going to play unless there's a setback. I just think I know the other guy has done well. I just think he's kind of a difference maker. And the other thing on the other side of the ball, and again, we've talked about this before, Knish, but we saw this last week. Oklahoma State right now might be the most injured team in college football. They are decimated with injuries, and that's why you saw Kansas State beat them like a rented mule at 48-0 last week. With their injury issues and Daniels possibly coming back, I took Kansas at home at a pick 'em.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but another one that I'm with you here. I played some Kansas early in the week when the Birds were chirping. I think it's still fine at pick when the Birds were chirping that Spencer Sanders might not go.
Yeah.
Might be up to 8 other starters that might not go either. So yeah, they've hit. We call it on the show the injury point of no return that some teams have faced this year. I think that's where they're at. I mean, they've just played a brutal stretch of games. The team is not healthy anymore. And you're getting Kansas potentially getting their start. I don't care if it's Bean or Daniels, to be honest with you. Even if Daniels come back, it's a bump. Bean has played well enough in his absence that, you're getting Kansas now up a little bit of a bye. It's just, it sets up here where it couldn't be a worse spot with the injuries and the run they've been on for Oklahoma State. good spot for Kansas here. I think they're going for to be the first bowl game in I don't know how many years that they can qualify for. So yeah, I think it's going to be rocking there in Kansas. So yeah, I like that. I think it could be a game that Oklahoma State struggles to even compete in if the guys that we presume to be out don't play. And I think it could be Gundy's son at quarterback. He's that's a nepotism special there.
Right.
He's not an FBS quarterback. So I think Oklahoma State's really going to be in trouble here if all those guys are out. So yeah, I think, and this one is even one if before the game, if we just want to talk numbers before the game, those guys are out. I think Kansas closes as a favorite here, potentially -2, -2.5, up to 3 if all those guys are going to miss.
Yeah, and again, like you said, it's hard to get college football injury information, but the words floating around are good for Kansas and bad for Oklahoma State. So we'll see how that goes. I can't believe your dog is all over the Cowboys.
That's what it is. She now that they're a dog, she can't get it out there. So yeah, that's listen. Hey, likes the underdog there now that they're there. But hey, we are all Kansas here.
All right, good. So I'm looking forward to your thoughts on this next game because I'm going against the team again who I went. I took Memphis as a home dog +3.5, even though I hate their coach. But UCF, I went against them last week, and those rat bastards went behind and went down. I needed one stop for the win, and they got the touchdown with 37 seconds left. They got me. Now they go on the road. We don't know about Plumlee, if he's going to start or not. He's questionable. I haven't heard anything on that. I don't know if you have, but I know we talk on here a lot, Knish, that we go like coaching trends and we don't really look at trends. And I agree with that. I found a trend for this game that's just remarkable. It's not going to make a difference on who wins, but over the last decade, the home team is 11-0 against the spread in this game, which is one of those quirky things, home and away trend. But I don't know. Memphis has lost a lot of close games. I think they're better at home than they are on the road. I just hope the team hasn't quit on that idiot coach of theirs.
No, you know what? God damn it, Casale. I'm with you. I'm with you here again. I don't care what the last 2 games are. I'm taking the other side. But no, I like Memphis. Number one, I don't think Plumlee is going to play. So I think it'll be Mikey Keene, who I don't, again, struggled for last week, struggled as really, I don't think he's, again, a level quarterback there that can keep up with a Memphis offense. That's legitimate. I was not a Seth Hennigan guy for most of his career. He's played well for the majority of this year, and I got to give him credit. And what's been the formula to beat UCF this year? If you can stop the run, they don't have a great passing attack, very rush based. They run, most of their passing stuff is totally like scheme oriented, bubble screens and that type of stuff, where they don't run any progressions or any of that. It's very, very basic passing offense, and they're totally reliant on the run. And when they can't do that against a Memphis defense that's been relatively top 40 in a lot of the, the advanced rushing metrics, and Seth Hennigan, a guy who can put up a number, I gotta say, I think Memphis is very live here, especially when you're getting a downgrade at the quarterback position with Mikey Keene. So this is another one that I think if that comes to fruition and it's Keene, this is one that I think you'll see close under 3 for sure. I think Memphis is very live. Again, they've had some, I would call them fluky results here, where they probably should be a lot better than they are. The team that I did not buy into coming in the year, but they had one of the flukiest losses of the year to Houston. A game against Tulane, they got down big. They ended up coming all the way back in that one to have a chance. Yeah, the East Carolina game. So I like this Memphis team more than I thought I would, and it's a UCF team that I can't buy on here. It's a good matchup. So yeah, Memphis. I think they're live, and if you're doing a money line like the 3.5, if you're doing a money line round robin, I'd put them in for sure. Okay,
so now I put these games in specific order, Knish. So I thought Wake Forest, Kansas, Memphis. I thought there was a good chance you might like those. So I saved this one fourth, because I got a feeling you're not going to like this one.
Good.
I'm going back to them, baby. Give me the Irish +4 against Clemson.
Finally.
On Saturday night. Listen, Knish, I'd love to give you a bunch of trends and stats and numbers and all this stuff. I know the numbers it's a little low. I get it. It is. I just think Clemson is the most overrated team in the country. FSU by 6, Wake Forest by 6, Syracuse by 6. Quarterback issues going into Notre Dame Stadium. This is one of those, it's like, remember Lloyd Christmas and Dumb and Dumber. I'm going to go with my instincts on this one. I'm going to take the Irish at night, getting 4, and I got the hat ready, baby, if you want to go against me.
I was going to say, you better get that hat out next week because I can come on here. I'm going to pour some lighter fluid on it and throw it up in the yard for a little marshmallow session there. I'm taking the Tigers, baby. We finally got a head-to-head here. Nobody, listen, tell producer Jason, turn the camera on. Nobody hates this Notre Dame team or is more down on this Notre Dame team than me in the country. I've been fading them all year. I don't think I bet Notre Dame once. It had some fades early that went well. Obviously, the North Carolina fade did not go well. Nobody fades this Notre Dame team more than me. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I think Clemson is the greatest team on earth. I don't think they should be. I tell you they shouldn't be ranked above Michigan in the college football playoff for those hacks down south. I'll tell you that right now. However, I will say that this Clemson team, I think, is significantly more talented than the team that Notre Dame has put out there. And part of the issue that Notre Dame's going to have is when they can't play their bully ball offense and be able to, kind of get over, with the running game and let Drew Pine kind of get in there. And listen, the Dogs might like some of your Notre Dame here, but I think this Clemson, you're just getting a more talented team against a defense that has given up more plays, even in the games against UNLV and that. They've been known to give up some rush explosiveness plays, and I thought DJ, however, I had a poor game against her. I thought he was trending up for the most part. Obviously had some regression game there against Syracuse. I'll give him like we did with Sam Hartman. I'll give him a mulligan there. I think he looks better in this one. Give me the Tigers and get the hat ready because we're about to light it up.
All right, yeah, I figured you'd be against me here. I mean, this is one of those games where I just got this feeling. I've seen Notre Dame games at night. I've been to one. It's kind of that Iowa offense type of thing where they return interceptions for a touchdown. They're blocking punts. That's the kind of game I think we're going to get. Notre Dame 21st in the country in defense. Clemson 18th, I believe they are. I think it's going to be low scoring. We'll see how it goes, but I got the hat ready. And this is great news for Notre Dame fans because I'm like a couple of plays away from hanging 350 burgers on you the 3 times we've gone against each other. So that's my 4th pick. Now, Knish, I know you knew this one was coming. They ain't gonna pit 2 triple option academies against each other and me not make a pick.
All right, where the triple option was.
How dare they?
You're not on base here. Giving a pep speech. I wonder where you're going. I don't know where you're going though. I knew we were going to this game. I don't know which side you're going though.
So if this game was an Army, I'd probably go there. I'd be saluting. It's actually down in Arlington, Texas. Listen, you make an academy a 7-point favorite over another academy, and I'm taking the points. I know this isn't a great Army team. I know they struggle against the run, but to me, struggling against the run and the option are 2 different things. They're getting overpowered by Wake Forest and Georgia State, up the gut. Listen, I got to go with Army. Air Force is a team. If you said rank your most disappointing team of the season, for me, it's Air Force. I thought them 500 plus 500 to win the Mountain West was one of my best futures ever. I was patting myself on the back, telling everybody. I mean, they've lost to Utah State. They lost to Wyoming. The Boise State isn't a terrible loss, but they could get nothing going on the ground. Army's not having a great season. Academies, I don't know. I'm taking the 7. Do you have any opinion on this one? I know you love that triple option.
I've learned a lot of the triple option from the Godfather, triple option Tommy C over here. But listen, I'm with you. I think these triple option games are ones where you just throw out all of the stats against normal teams, against normal offenses. Even rush based offenses usually don't correlate to these games. So you've seen it in Army Navy games where one team has a horrible season, comes off, and all of a sudden like they can't run the ball. So it's like the model breaker, the advanced stat breaker, like none of that stuff really correlates here to when you're facing a triple option with triple option. And I agree with what you're saying. Like, this is an Air Force team that when I think of like the premium versions of the triple option with Malcolm Perry and Navy, and like when they had probably the best playmaker at quarterback for any of the schools in the last 5+ years. You thought going into the year, and I thought that Air Force could be that type of level with Zeke Daniels and some of the weapons they had, and it just hasn't been. It just hasn't been that great. It's been, and a game that, disappointing effort for Navy when they went up against them. As you said, they've gotten, shut down by Wyoming and Boise and teams that don't have, classic great defenses that they've had in the past. They've just teams that have had success defending the triple and were able to do it again this year. So yeah, I can't get to a touchdown here. I think if you're going to have one of these triple games that is over a touchdown, I think you have to have such a significant delta between the teams, or some type of mass injury, just some reason that would give me lead me to want to lay a 7 here. And again, throw out even the trends and all that stuff. I just don't think Air Force is 7 points better on a neutral versus Army team. So I'm with you there. I would take the touchdown and not even think about it.
Yeah, and you mentioned some of those teams. Like, listen, Army's been very good in recent years. Air Force has had some really good years. Navy a few years ago, really good. There's nothing like these academy teams suck this year. All three of them do. So there's not one that's significantly better. I think this number is still based on the Air Force team we thought we were going to see this year, but they're not very good, especially offensively. I'm really surprised they aren't blowing some of these teams out. I thought it was going to be one of the best offenses they had in years, and it's just not happening so far.
Yeah, no, I was with you. Preseason, I think they came in. They're bringing so many back, and Zeke Daniels could be that guy, and it just never is. It hasn't really materialized into the team that they thought. Now you against the UNLVs and teams that don't have a pulse. They've been able to run in that, but I agree with you. I can't get to it has to be a really good reason for me to ever want to lay a touchdown in these triple versus triple, and I don't see it here.
Okay, well, Kyle in the chat says Drew Pine against that front line. Thoughts and prayers. Yeah, hey, listen, I get it. It's listen, you rarely get Notre Dame at a very good number, right? It's like betting the Cowboys. It's like betting the New York Yankees. They make Notre Dame a 6-7 point underdog. 99% of the bets are going to be on them. So I get it. Well, I'm going to go Notre Dame's defense. We'll see. I got the hat ready. But Knish, I want to throw in a bonus game because this was a game that would have initially made my card, but we had some new information come through. I took Mississippi State 10.5 on the opener, but then Harsin gets fired for Auburn, and then it just I wish he was there. I bet it because I thought he was going to be there, and then he gets. So, what are your thoughts on that game? Like, I know these coaching change in games mid-season are hard to figure out, but I do have Miss State 10.5, but I don't like it as much with all the intangibles now surrounding Auburn.
I don't know if there's anybody that's more down on the Mississippi State's performance this year with Mike Leach than me. I just think they've been so epically disappointing for a team that has more talent and returning in the defense than that they should have had. So to not even be competitive in some of these games, to lose the LSU game, then they get blanked by Ben. However, I agree with you that do you worry about some of the, the post-firing bump? Usually I don't. I think a lot of that stuff can be overplayed in this scenario, with Brian Harsin, to go to Cadillac Williams, like a lot of guys like maybe you see that. Again, it's too. If gun to my head, I would probably take an Auburn position out, one of the 13s that's out there. But obviously, you got in at a good number. I'm not going to make too much of a strong case for an Auburn here team that could just be a dead team walking here. I think you can get both sides of that coin when a coach leaves. Either you can get the bump because everybody hated him, couldn't stand him, or you can get the team that just checked out, season's over. So. Yeah, I think you got a good number. I would just let it ride there. If I had to play the current, I would say Auburn. But it's hard to not be just very heavily disappointed with the Mississippi State team, especially over the last 5 or 6 weeks.
Yeah, and it was actually you, Knish, who said on this show a couple of weeks ago that Harsin was out the door. And I remembered that, and I was thinking, geez, this could be a blowout. This could be the game that sends him home. Unfortunately, they sent him home.
Longer than I thought. I thought he was out the door. Going to be a few weeks ago. They took a little longer to hire the AD, and then if you want to endear yourself to the fan base, the first move, fire Harsin is probably the layup in terms of things you can do to help your case.
Yeah, so that's not an official play of mine, just getting Knish's thoughts. My plays officially: Wake Forest -2.5, Kansas pick, Memphis +3.5, Notre Dame 4 that Knish hates, and Army in the battle of the triple option +7. Those are my 5 official plays. I got to get something going here, Knish. I'm 18-17. I'm embarrassing my family.
Baby. 4-1 this week.
So, Knish, what is a game or two you're looking at over there? You've been pretty good with these games so far this season. What are you looking at for this week?
You know what? One that I like, even though it's come down a bit, some sharp guys I know that are on. I like Texas Tech quite a bit. They're still pretty much paying at 8. There's still some 8.5s out there. 8 or better. I like that. I think it's a TCU team that has really rode a nice wave of variance throughout the year. A team that again, took futures on, was bullish on for most of the year, has bet in some circumstances this year. But man, when you talk about a team that's gotten a lot of breaks and just has a defense that I frankly don't think is very good, that's really, been up against some teams where the quarterback's gotten hurt, have been up against some teams that the quarterback couldn't play. So I like Tech there for a decent amount, anything 8 or better. Another one, and Texas A&M, this is one to watch for people, we'd like to give out. Texas A&M has a lot of, heard that, the flu/COVID is going around. Not sure what quarterback they're going to be, go with to start. So if you want to, for people out there, if you want to grab a Florida position at 3 or better and kind of wait to see the news, I don't think it gets worse than 3. I'll tell you that. If anything, depending on what quarterback they're going to have to go, I think it could actually close, significantly lower, depending on if Weigman can't go or not. So that's one of the info ones I'm monitoring. And what's one more out there that can do? We got a weekend play here. What else is still good at current? One more, I'll tell you. And now that it's gotten down there a bit, I would be inclined to also add. Let me see the current number just to get on here. That there is. It looks like I will tell you. Troy has gotten steamed against Lafayette. This one is, if a 3 pops, I'm telling you, I'm buying it at 3. I'll play 3.5 if I have to. It looks like 3.5 is probably out there. There's some really, light juice on the 3.5 at Chris. Troy's one that they're coming off a bye. Lafayette, I think this offense really going to struggle versus Troy defense that is elite. Is elite for a G5 defense, no doubt about it. It's one that, and again, every point critical here, lower total. If you can get a 3, that's what I'm sitting and waiting to. I'd still play some 3.5, but 3 is the number I'm waiting on for Troy there, and letting this kind of come back on some steam. I think ULL just outmatched here.
Now, let me ask you before we go about a game that I've just been seeing a lot of action on. Texas, Kansas State. Seems like everybody and their mother's on Texas. I have Kansas State 16-1 to win the Big 12. Need them to get a win here, and your Texas Tech team to pull an upset. But I guess I kind of get it because Kansas State beat a corpse last week and Texas is coming off a bye. They played some close games. I guess I just can't trust Texas yet. Every time I feel like I trust them, I get burned. What do you like the side on this game? What are you hearing on that one?
Yeah, this is an interesting one because I know some sharper guys that liked it that under 3. But I tell you what, anytime this is where you want to, people, like the number, say it's short and that. Anytime that it's still the thing with liking that is it's still hanging out under 3. So anything that hasn't moved across there, and when it's 3s have popped, they've been eaten up. So this is one I don't actually have a position on. I would tend to agree with you that the execution that Texas had at the end of their last game was concerning for me. It looked a bit like Quinn Ewers wasn't right. Like he was just throwing up these fade balls at the end of the game. So I think matchup-wise, okay. And again, you're getting a nice spot there for Texas off a bye. I agree with that. I am not inclined to get involved on this one as of yet. I thought it would kind of sit between that pick and 3, and that's kind of a no-action zone for me. To be honest with you, I would kind of, if the 3s popped out there, lean your way there with a little bit of Kansas State. But I know some other guys that are on Texas. So I think this one's just going to be mostly a pass for me as it's kind of traded right in there around 2.5 all week.
All right. Well, there you have it. My official 5 picks: Wake Forest -2.5, Kansas pick, Memphis +3.5, Notre Dame +4, which is the lock of the century if you go by recent results, and Army +7 in the battle of the option offenses. Knish, the next Hit the Books is on Monday at 4 p.m. with you and Brad Powers breaking down all the weekend's games, looking ahead to the early bets, the early numbers. So make sure and check that out. I got the leprechaun hat ready, Knish. I got it ready. You bet you need one. Listen, if I start seeing block punts for touchdowns and all that stuff, I couldn't believe what I saw last week. So we'll see what happens. Listen, we got a good one to go head to head. Night game, big game, get in front of the TV. Let's go. So, Knish, as always, it's a pleasure. For the Tom Casale, at Joey Knish 22. Make sure to check us out on Twitter. Knish, good luck this weekend in all but one game, and I will see you next Friday on Hit the Books.
You too, brother. Listen, if I lose every bet this weekend but Clemson wins, I'll take it. Let's go Tigers.